All right, hello my Algebra 1 lovelies. We are moving on how to factor a quadratic that has a leading coefficient. So we're on 6 today. So let's go ahead and jump to some notes. So the first thing we're looking at is the definition. So when factoring with a leading coefficient, it's using the standard form. So it's using the standard form of a quadratic equation, and we know that that is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So we're going to use those combinations to be able to find that. So the first thing you got to do is find your factors of a and c. So you're taking those two numbers. You have your a here and your c here. Well, 2 times negative 3 gives us 6. So our goal is to find factors of negative 6. So some factors of negative 6 are negative 1 and 6, 1 and negative 6. We have negative 2 and 3, and 2 and negative 3. And keep in mind you don't have to write out those negatives every single time. If you just want to write 1 and 6 twice and realize that the negative can go to either one, that would work too. So our goal is still to have them add up to b, so that is 5 here. So our goal is to get 5. Well, negative 1 plus 6 gives us 5. How crazy. So in our first shot, we found what we're going to use. So the two numbers that we're going to plug in are negative 1 and negative 6. So when we when we factored when it wasn't a leading coefficient, when it was just 1, we would start with x and then something, and then another x and then something. Well, this is similar. You're not going to write x. You're going to write what you started with. You're going to write your a. So you have 2x something and 2x something. So you're just getting this 2x from that original equation. Okay, that's where I'm getting that. And now we're going to go ahead and plug in the two numbers that we found, are negative 1 and 6, into our equation. So right now we've got 2x minus 1, and we have 2x plus 6. Well, my goal now is to figure out if I can simplify these anymore, to whether I could take out a GCF. So that's what I'm looking for here. Well, if I look at my first thing, I have 2 and I have 1. Was there a GCF there? No, I mean it's just 1, so we're not going to do anything with that. So our first part will still be 2x minus 1. My second part, I have a 2x plus 6. Well, 2 does go into 6, so we're dividing each side by 2. So left over, I'll have x plus 3. Okay, so that leaves us with our final answer of 2x minus 1 times x plus 3. Okay, all we did was take out the GCF that was written here to find the final part of our factoring, sorry. All right, number 2. Oh, zoomed in too much. There we go. So we're going to do that same process of where we're going to start is take our a multiplied by our c. So I have 3 times negative 8. 3 times negative 8. Well, 3 times negative 8 gets us a negative 24. So factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12. Okay, so we have 2 and 12. Excuse me, there was an announcement that was just made. And then we've got, let's see, what else? We have 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. All of that gets us 24, but I'm not going to write them twice with one's negative and one's positive because I'm just going to start thinking about that logically now. Well, if our goal is to get b, which is 10, okay, well, is 1 and 24 ever going to give us 10? No, it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that one off. What about 2 and 12? Well, yeah, that would give us a 10. And now I'm going to think, well, which one needs to be positive and which one needs to be negative? Well, if I want a positive 10, I want my bigger number to be positive. So my 12 is going to be positive, and my 2 will be negative, and that's what will get us our 10. So I found my two numbers that I'm going to use. I found them, negative 2 and 12. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. So remember, my first thing is I'm going to have my 3x and then something, and 3x and then something. Okay, I'm getting that 3x from our a here. So you're putting a as our first term. Next thing you're doing is putting the two numbers that we found. So we have -2 and then plus 12. Well, now we got to see, well, do these have a GCF? Is there a factor that we could take out of both of them? Well, I have 3 and 2 on this side, and that does not have a GCF, so that's going to stay exactly the same. But I do have 3 and 12 on this side, and I can divide each term by 3. So left over, I'm going to have x plus 4. And that will be my final answer. Because we took out that GCF. We divided our quadratic by 3, so we could simplify that factor. All right, number 3. We're going to do that same step like we did here, is where we take A and we take C and we multiply them together. So I have 6 times 5. Well, 6 times 5 gives us 30. So our goal is to have factors of 30, and we want them to add up to 17. Well, factors of 30, let's see, we have 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. Okay, it's okay if you guys don't know that right off the top of your head. We will have some multiplication tables for you guys to use as well. So our goal is to get 17. Well, is 1 and 30 going to give me 17? No, it's not. What about 2 and 15? Yes, that is definitely going to give me 17. And we can see that both of these numbers are going to be positive. So when I enter my answer, I'm going to start my factor with 6x. And my first one I'll add 2. And my second one I'll still start with 6x, but I'll add 15. Well, now my goal is to see, okay, well, what can I divide? What can I take out? My GCF, what can I get rid of? So what number, you got to think to yourself, divides 6 and 2? Well, we know that 6 divided by 2 gives us 3, so 2 divides each of these. So I'm going to divide each of these terms by 2. So I'll have 3x plus 1 left over for my first part. My second one, I got to see, well, what divides 6 and 15? This one's a little bit more tricky because you're looking for common factors. So we did that with our GCF of where we listed them. You can do that, or you can just think about it logically. So you've got 6 and 15. Well, I know that 3 divides both of those numbers. So I'm going to divide both by 3. So left over, I'll have 2x plus 5. And that will be my final answer here. Okay, there's no other GCFs that we can take out. We already divided. All right, on the next page, it's literally like a repeat of the first 3 examples. Hashtag mess up, but that's okay. So just go ahead and skip down to example number 4, and we're going to do that one next. And this will be the last one that we'll do. And then tomorrow we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to teach you how to solve it, of where we can use that zero product property to set them equal to 0. So remember, our first step, we need to take our A and our C. So we have 12 and -4. Well, that gives us 48 because you're multiplying. And our goal is for them to add up to -2. So let's see, factors of 48. I have 1 and 48. I have 2 and 24. I have 3 and 16. I have 4 and 12. And I have 6 and 8. Well, our goal is to get -2. So I'm going to go through this list and see, okay, well, which one should I use? Well, 1 and 48, that's never going to give you -2. 2 and 24, that is also never going to get you -2. 3 and 6, never. 4 and 12, never. Oh, snap, we got 6 and 8. Well, that does give us a -2, but keep in mind, since this is a -48, that one of these terms has to be negative and one has to be positive. So if I want a -2, I want my 8 to be negative, my bigger number to be negative, and my 6 to be positive. So what I want you guys to do now is go ahead and pause this video and finish it from here. Because we know we'll have our 12x and our something, and 12x and our something, and we already found those factors. So go ahead and plug it in and pull out that GCF. Once you're finished, push play, and you can check your answer. All right, so you should have plugged in that +6 and -8 for your 2 factors, and then your next step is to look at those GCFs. So you have 12 and 6 for our first part. Well, what number divides 12 and 6? Well, 6 does. So once we divide it left over, we have 2x plus 1. So that's our first parenthesis. And then now we're focusing on our second one. So our 12x minus 8. Well, what number divides 12 and 8? Well, 4 does. So we have left over our 3x minus 2. And we can see that after we put it all together, that this is our beautiful answer. Okay, so if you guys have any questions on stuff, I get that this stuff is tricky. Please let us know. Don't just guess and hope for the best. Well, we will see you again later. Adios.